Hey, K-drama fans, we are the KThree, and this is our weekly watch list where we talk about all the dramas that we're watching, and we want you to tell us about what you're watching. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get started. Ooh, yeah. Monday, Tuesday. Dinner mate, people. I just am always smiling. It's just pure joy. I love them so much. Samsung walks around with Band-Aids in his pocket. Like, do they have to keep making him even more perfect? Like, why does he have Band-Aids in his pocket just for that specific reason? Like, it makes no sense, but I loved it.
And then he cooked for her.
Right?
Oh my goodness. And just like his little smile, his shy smile, he's just like...
And he's got a great laugh.
Oh
got
my
a great
God.
laugh. Like, oh my God. The male leads so far in the first half of 2020 have really ruined me. I mean, I really have just really enjoyed 3 of them now this year, where I'm like, they're mature, they're smart, they're funny, they're respectful. Like, freaking love them.
I know.
What's happening right now, K-dramas?
So I swear, bye-bye to the asshole Chebol who, the Cinderella falls for, even though he's a horrible person. It's like,
I love that
Thank
he's now
God.
officially become the E.G. Hoon character in our drama here. He's now the bad guy.
He's bananas.
Hey, wackadoodle.
Oh my goodness. Like, he was not loved as a child, had no affection. And therefore, that's why he's stalking her.
He's so stalking, and gonna basically risk his own life by eating a strawberry in the most dramatic fashion ever on live television. I was like, that's hilarious, and he's insane. Like, what the hell is happening?
Strawberry.
Strawberry. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right?
So,
death by strawberry.
Show has, I feel like they're, I don't know. I mean, clearly, I don't know. Like, he's like the weirdest link in this whole show. Like, I wouldn't call him the weak link because I love E.G. Hoon and he plays this role so well.
I know.
But, like, he's just
the weirdest link is not Keanu, the homeless ex-psychiatrist.
No. Love him.
Jaehoon. Jaehoon. So
like,
oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's crazy. And oh my God, I love it so much. Like, and that whole little soap opera that played out when Do-hee and Sung Seung-hyun are sitting there eating ramen, which he got totally played and thought they were going to her place for ramen. Nice work, show. And they're watching that little soap opera play out outside of the convenience store.
I know, with Keanu and Ye Ji-won. What's her character?
It was so fantastic.
Nam Ah-young. It was hilarious. Just the over dramatized, like turning away and turning back.
Oh God, it was fantastic. So yeah, I just think they're adorable, and I think I'm intrigued by the Keanu character, and I want to learn more about him. So I feel like I'm hoping going into this week's episodes we learn more about him, and I just love that. Jennifer
Ye Ji-won.
Oh, Ye Ji-won. I love that her character is just like, don't care, think you're cool, too old for this bullshit, let's go. Come on, we're going home. I was like, yes. Love that woman. Love her so much. And I really have to say, I love Do-hee's character. I love the fact that she's strong and knows what she wants, but also knows that she's fragile and isn't like jumping headfirst into this relationship with this man who clearly is into her, but they're both they're not broken, but they both clearly have still issues. And I love that they're playing that in a fairly, for the most part, a fairly realistic way, in that, you're kind of into it and you're super into it, but you're also like, I've been down this road and it could blow up in my face.
I love that they're just taking it a little slow. And like you said last week, that they started off as friends. That's just, it's such a mature romantic comedy.
It really is.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I do totally have to give a shout out to our friend to everyone, Kang Go-woo, who is our stylist, best friend, knows everyone, cousin. Like, he's kind of that mystical character that seems to tie everything together. I love the fact that when he was talking with E.G. Hoon, that over drinks, he was just like, dude, she turned you down. It's over. Basically, what you're doing now is violence and not right. And I love that was actually pointed out because he's just unhealthy. It's just a completely unhealthy way to behave. And I love that someone actually called it out.
I wrote it down. He said,
Yeah.
unwanted love isn't true love, it's violence.
Yes.
And I'm like, that ding.
Ding.
Right? This is, again, a mature drama. Because you have these tropes, right? You've got the ex-girlfriend who's wackadoo. You've got the ex-boyfriend who's like psycho. But you've got this understanding of what's happening that's elevated. It's not just played for that kind of base level, out of control. Like, you know, he's, you know, donning the black baseball cap and following her at night, you know?
Yeah. Like
it's actually scarier that
it's
way.
actually terrifying. Like Jung Jae-hyuk's character is like what a real stalker is like. Like it's very realistic and it's terrifying because it's again, like you said, they're not just like baseball cap hiding around in bushes. They literally just act like that this is the completely most normal thing ever. And so I appreciate that they're actually like exploring that aspect of it. Mm-hmm. How she didn't know that he was this obsessive for the 5 years they were together or how long they were together is a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. But, never met his family.
Right. I feel like Tohi, there was a lot of red flags to begin with. So, you know, but again, I'm loving this show so much. And it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And
Monday, Tuesdays. It's so good.
My Unfamiliar Family was really sad this week, Marisa.
I know, that was 7 and 8, right? It's the pivot point. Yeah.
And of course, as we end 8, I'm back. It's like, oh.
I know. We have not talked about marriage graduation in this.
Oh, like, is that really a thing? Like, I've never heard of that before.
Well, I looked it up. It sort of started in Japan, but it was more positive. It was about, you know, your kids have grown up and you've set aside your own desires for a long time in your own, perhaps the things that you could not pursue. So this was a way, like, for couples that, you know, they have no intention of divorcing, but is one definition of it. But you go off and do the thing that you want to do, and it's okay to be apart. I mean, my parents did that. They both traveled separately for like weeks on end, and all my friends would be like, wow, that's amazing. Your parents do it. I know. So it is. It's like, it's not the norm.
Right.
And I told my husband, and he's like, isn't that just marriage? Like, just supporting your partner? I'm like, apparently not to everybody. But but in this version,
everyone's now jealous of Marisa.
I know. I have nowhere to go. Sheltering
You're
at home.
hilarious.
But obviously for this version, it's a way of separating, but not going through the humiliation, I guess, that attaches to divorce at particularly at this age. So this is major, and that's a kind of a major cultural comment. So
sure, yeah, it is. I took all of your advice. And I just let it wash over me. So I don't have a lot of notes. I just have feelings about this show. That's all I've got. I don't have I just have feelings. And I have 2 big overriding feelings.
Okay.
One, I want Mom to be happy at the end of this show more than I want anybody else to be happy, even Big Nuna. Because that woman has put up with some shit. And right at the moment where she was about to break free, everything blew up in her face. And I understand her rage and I understand what's happening. And as much as the 22-year-old version of her husband is adorable, and I'm digging the fact that he's rethinking how awful he was, she doesn't want it. So I'm concerned that they're kind of showing glimmers of her softening. I think he needs to work a little harder before that happens. But that's my one overriding thought. And my second overriding thought is Kim Ji-suk's character, Chang-hyuk, is just a nugget. Like, he is, again, that character that's everyone's best friend and is connected to everyone. But he's so honest about it. Like, there's none of this. There's no sugarcoating what's happening. And someone needs to help me and work through why he's mad at Small Nuna now. And I was a little hazy on what was going on with that, as far as that story point going. But I still was like, he was honest about it and was like, I just need some time, lady. And was, and then laughed at her because she was silly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Cause like we could guess at what his motivation is there. I'm excited. I'm like, can't wait to see this play out because, again, she's she's got faults. And I love that about little Nuna, because that's just so real and relatable. And it's like, you know,
and the
again,
fact that she
a
has
mature
faults
drama
doesn't mean she's not. Doesn't mean she's not lovable. Like, I feel like a lot of the times that we set up these dramas or in life, we feel like if we have anything wrong with us, that we're completely unlovable. And so I love the fact that she's kind of a hothead and kind of like does this crazy shit, but everyone's kind of like, hey, like, knock it off. Still love you, but knock it off. Like when
middle child.
The Magne went over and was like, this is where I work. Could you not do that? I love you. I brought you croissants, but you need to separate, you know, personal and my business. Like, I loved that.
Yes. This is such a great family dynamic. But just all of the relationships, again, they're complicated and they're complex, and people don't always react the way you think they're going to. And I really like that. So that's why the characters that are kind of bugging me are like her friend at work.
Yeah, what is that?
And right.
Like, I feel like her friend at work knew that something was happening with the bot, right?
She's a terrible friend.
She's a terrible friend.
She's a terrible friend.
Terrible. Yeah.
And the her VP that she's having an affair with, his ex-girlfriend, again, tropey,
right?
Like naively mean. You know what I mean? It's just
I don't
he broke up with you.
Like, he broke up with you. And I don't think there's anything naive about it.
Not naive, but like simple about it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Though I'm a little concerned. Concerned is not the right word. I don't know what the right word is. I don't know where I again this week, not sure where I fall with her with the CEO. Like, am I like?
Well, I mean, that relationship is complicated enough. We don't really need him to have an ex-girlfriend in this picture, because everything else about this show just shows the difficulties with just navigating things that come at you in a lifetime, you know? Yes. So I don't know, this imposed drama of the ex-girlfriend, I just thought was superfluous.
It seemed a little bit forced.
Because it also doesn't seem like she's the kind of person that he would be with. I mean, I know it's like, you have these 9-year relationships, which it's like,
right. Yeah. It just gets a little crazy.
Because I don't know how to feel about him, because he seems like a very likable man.
Right.
Not sure where this is gonna. Yeah,
I think that's what is most intriguing to me. And that's why when I just kind of just went with my feelings this week and didn't try to analyze the story. What intrigues me is that the Kim Ji-suk character, Park Chang-hyuk, is he in love with Big Nuna? Is he in love with little Nuna? Like, I appreciate the fact that the show is made that.
I think he doesn't know.
That's what I'm saying. I appreciate that, because usually in a K-drama, by episode 8, we know where the story's going. It's all laid out, and now we're coasting into the finale to see if it's satisfying. So there's still so many pieces headed into the second half of this show that are left that are not.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, this is how you end up with like Truck of Doom in episode 14, or Off to America in episode 15. You have to impose these dramatic moments that make no sense story-wise, because you have to tear them apart so they can come back together. But this one, because we still have so many questions, it's like, I love this.
Yeah. So I have to admit, this week's I really enjoyed more. So yeah, I was all in. I was all in this week for sure.
So our maknae has no secrets. I mean, he said something about I do have a girlfriend. Yeah, but that was just almost a throwaway line. But I'm like, in this entire series where everyone's got stuff, he has to as well. Right? There's no way he doesn't.
Exactly. So I'm curious to see where that all ends up. Yeah. He's a nugget. I love him so much. Yeah. He's so amazing.
What's his name? Shinjae.
Shinjae. Oh, God. I mean, we loved him in VIP, and I love that, as silly as it sounds, like he's carried that VIP character energy over into this. So I feel like we just kind of get to enjoy that some more, because I felt like, because the women were so powerful in VIP, that he didn't quite get as much focus as he could have. So it's nice to see kind of that same type of character again.
Yeah.
And kind of enjoy that. Yeah.
Totally enjoying him. Yay.
Wednesday, Thursday. There was only one and it wrapped up. Mystic Pop-Up Bar. Oh, thank you for I loved this show so much. And it ended. I thought the ending was a little rushed, and I thought there were a couple of beats where I was like, wait, what's happening? Like, I was a little confused. Like, I felt like things got edited out of order a little bit in that last, like, 5 minutes to kind of just put everything back in order. But overall, super satisfying. And this is definitely one of those, like, binge it because it's beautiful, right?
This show, it had so much of everything we love. Just like, mystical, historical, afterlife, reincarnation.
Food,
it was just
found family, but not really, but kind of finding your family. Like, yeah.
I know. And a lead female who was just like, she spoke her mind. Oh, yeah. She spoke before she'd think. Oh, yeah. And it was just, she was she was so everything.
It was just so, she was perfect. I loved that character so freaking much. Gui was the man. He had that like flaming sword, and he was like, I've never enjoyed that actor.
He stood by her.
Oh my God. Trayvon Young, I have never enjoyed him in any, honestly, he's never really stood out to me before. I mean, I know that I've seen him a bunch of times, but like, I've never really been like, yeah. But like Gui's going down in the history books of one of my favorite characters for sure. Like when they all came to the realization that Kang Bae was actually their kid, and come on, Yuk Sung Jae channeling his god energy between this and Goblin, like that's pretty much going to be his role from here. Every time he shows up in a drama from here, and I'm like, all right, when does he become God? Go.
That's right.
Because he goes from being that like floppy-eared puppy to like fucking owning it, like.
I know when all that tree energy was just like shooting off of him.
Yeah, but man, when they found out that that's who he was, and oh my God, they gave him the dream where they're all family. Oh God, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. I will say this, you guys, they didn't actually say it, but I will die on this hill. I totally believe that Sun Shin was her mother, even though they didn't mention it.
I was surprised they didn't mention it. I was like, Jen, did I miss it?
I know.
Do I have to go back and rewatch?
I don't feel like they mentioned it because I felt like that would have been a big reveal. But I'm dying on that hill that that's what it was. That that's who she was.
Oh, because that final scene with her and the Grim Reaper on the park bench where they're like, our kids aren't talking to us anymore, kind of feeling was like. Right.
And he was like, and you went in every day with a petition to get her out of there. I'm like, that's totally mom. That's totally mom.
So that was the stuff that was rushed. Like at the end there. And again, we spend a lot of time on a kidnapping. I mean, the fight was awesome. A couple of fights were great. Yeah. But And then there was a weird edit for me right at the end. So she falls into the pit of despair and has to be rescued, right? And so then we cut to Kang Bae and him living his life, which was sad, but lovely. Like he was living it and it was good. And then we cut to like this weird scene where our girl is like helping someone in a dream. And then we cut to what happened to her. Like, I felt like that kind of gave away the game. Like, I was like, oh, well, clearly, wait. Like, I felt like that scene needed to be like either the end of the show and that she went back to working the bar. It was odd. Yeah. I just thought it was a weird place to put that piece of information. Yeah, it felt a little out of order. God, that happens a lot, right? In K-dramas where you're like, they only give you a little bit and then they go back and explain it, but they do it right after this thing where you're just confused. Yeah. And you're like, so there was a litu
I was kind of like, I felt like in that spot, it was a bad spot to put it in because the ending was so beautiful. Like it was like it seemed like they had this great piece of footage they didn't know where to put. So they're like, stick it there. But her ending again when she went like right straight to camera and broke that fourth wall again and just basically and the voiceover about how it's not that hard to change your fate just by being kind and good to people and like small things can do that because heaven or the gods are very easily swayed by goodness and I was like show rock like that's amazing I love it Like the whole it was just a testament to like being kind to people from beginning to end. And I love that it wasn't hard. Like some shows make it so freaking hard. Like you have to sacrifice like everything to like make yourself worthy to be loved. But this one was just like, just do a kind deed. You know, give up your lottery numbers to help your friends back out, you know, go and talk to your dead ex-girlfriend because she just wants to resolve things with you, you know, like just these simple little things.
That's right.
And the one person who just wouldn't do it was that like maniacal evil guy who Marco still isn't over to laugh. So, you know,
he was that was over the top. His whole evil, you know.
I mean, I loved it because it was hilarious.
I'll make you pay, you know. 500 years later, can't get over himself. You know. Well, no, a couple of them couldn't get over themselves, but
can we? Here's my one quibble, though. This is my one quibble. How could Gui be on the Afterlife police force for 500 years or 499 years and not figure out that one of his best friends is a little bit off?
I know, maybe possessed.
Like,
couldn't figure that one out.
Hey, mister, I'm going to protect you with everything I have. That one. That was my only quibble, and I loved Gui with everything I had. Like, he was amazing. Amazing. I just think it was beautiful that at the end of the show, and I think we all kind of guessed that this, at least this is what my dream was, is that all debts are paid off. And Wolju and Gui get to still run the pop-up bar, and Kangbei gets to basically still work for them, and they basically can be with him as he grows old and lives a life. And I was very, very pleased, even with all my quibbles, that for the ending, that is where it ended up. And when he walked into, the only thing I was disappointed is when he came into the pop-up bar, they didn't like hug or anything. They just did that K-drama stare off. I was like.
I know. Hey. Yeah. It was a smidge unsatisfying. I don't want to say it was unsatisfying in any way, but it was a smidge, like it didn't quite give you that final like
it didn't have that
hug that you needed.
Yeah, like if it would have been like a 3-way hug, I would have been like, oh God. But it was kind of like, no? All right. But still, I was so happy that he got the girl, he got his parents, he got like the pop-up bar, like boys going places. I was really happy to see that. So I personally think that this show, if you're in a slump or you just want some goodness in your life, this one's only 12 episodes, super bingeable. I highly recommend it for that, for sure. Right?
On Netflix. It's just, it makes it so easy. Definitely. I feel like I got to turn around and watch it again.
Right? Oh my God. It's so beautiful. So I love them, Tamara. All right. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's okay to not be okay. Ooh, boy. All right. Risa, what did you think of this week's episodes?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. I mean, it's definitely a K-drama now. It is.
Yeah, for sure.
And we will have to see this lesson over and over again, that people who are not neurotypical can be slapped around and pushed around by their families. So, you know, I guess we're going to be getting that lesson a few times before things shift about. But yeah, I am loving her so much. She is just like, she's outspoken. She's a bitch. She doesn't think before she speaks. She just takes what she wants. And, I love her. So
I love her, but I'm concerned.
Oh, well,
from a story standpoint, because while I love her, she has antisocial personality disorder, which means she really, I don't think she's the healthiest partner for Moon Kang-tae, because she's never going to change. Like empathy is not part of her repertoire.
Oh, but by the time we get to episode 16.
I like her a lot. And if she was like Jung Geum-ja, who was just scarred by her childhood and therefore became a strong, outspoken person, I would be all in. But they've already put her in this category of having this psychological disorder. And so I'm not sure how they're going to manage that. So I feel like it's a very, my concern is that it's a very small needle to thread, this being an actual relationship to root for.
Well, I think you've got two people who are so damaged by their parents as children, and they're in a psychiatric hospital. So, there's going to be reckonings of all sorts.
Sure.
There's going to having to face what's happened. I haven't seen this as like, okay, she has mental health issues. I haven't seen it that deep. What I see is a damaged childhood as, a father who tried to kill her for some reason, a mother who committed suicide, and, and she's an artist, right? She's a writer, and an actual personality disorder. I don't know.
I'm just looking at seeing if my drama list has it. Cause I've seen it in a lot of the stuff where that's what she's been diagnosed with. We will see. I could be wildly incorrect. Maybe they'll come up with a misdiagnosis by the end of the K-drama. But I'm loving the brothers, and I wish we would spend more time with the brothers. I think that's also where I'm going with it.
Well, now he's going to be in the hospital.
Yes.
Painting. So
yes. Though I did have a question. The butterfly landed on his hand. He freaked out, but then the very next scene he was fine.
Well, they haven't given us very much information on it.
No.
Yeah. Because I thought it was Kang Tae was the one who witnessed her, massacring all those butterflies. So
are what caused. He saw something about butterflies killed their mom, and so the butterflies are what he melts down about, and so that's why I was a little hazy there. And then I'm also really a little bit hazy, and they really are not explaining it, but why the yearly butterfly experience for Sangtae causes them to have to leave where they're like run away from the butterflies. I get it to some extent, but why do you have to keep leaving your job and where you live?
Oh, no, they haven't explained it.
Okay. All right. And can we talk about her house for a hot second?
The cursed castle. Oh my gosh. I know. I tried to find the most gothic element in my house today because it's like, I know. I would move in there in a heartbeat.
Right? God, he was like, this is creepy. I'm like, just air it out and open some windows. It's beautiful. What are you talking about? Yeah.
I know. Except I think part of it is from the set of The King. Like his office, like all the second level with all the books.
Oh,
and I
also was thinking Hotel de Luna. I felt like that chandelier was very Hotel de Luna. I was like, I feel like I've been here before. So probably between the hospital, which is Doldum Hospital, and the chandelier, I'm like, I'm just getting all sorts of K-drama whiplash on this one.
Oh, I know. And also, the director of the hospital was Kim Soo-yeon's best friend in My Love from Another Star. Right? So they have such a great relationship there.
God,
so I'm like, so I know there are all these intersections.
And then we got Kim Mi-kyung as playing a mom again. I'm a little bummed out about that, but
I know.
At least she's a little bit of a feistier mom this time, and not just relegated to her house, which I think, if I remember her private life correctly, I don't think she ever left the house.
No, she came to the museum a couple times, I think.
Okay. All right. I felt like every time I saw her, she was just cooking and bringing food to the table and talking about her kids and folding clothes. I was just like,
and hiding secrets. I think she was.
You were freaking Ajima and Healer, man. Like, come on.
I know. But we got Kim Mi-kyung and Jung Young Nam in this. Her eye rolls are
she's the best. I actually, when that first scene in the beginning, she's like, it's haunted. And he just was like, and she's like, I was like, I love her so much. Like her whole like, damn it, didn't work. Love her. Yeah.
She's the best. So Ye-ji
is ethereal.
Yeah.
She's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like I could just stare at her for days.
Oh, I know. She's so put together and zipped up tight. But with just these tongue lashings,
But yet so soft. It's an amazing combination. When they do those super tight close-ups on her, I'm just like,
yeah. I know, she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
Yeah. She's
her style, just everything about her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just loving so much. We have also not talked about Kwak Dong-yeon, his appearance as the ignored youngest son who is just crying out for attention in the most naked way possible.
Right?
Dude's been working out. Hilarious.
Yes. And he was like, I'm going to show it.
So funny with like the moving, flop.
Oh my god, the
hilarious.
camera work and that sequence was amazing. It was so freaking good. And he just played it so well. Like he's having such a great time. So yeah.
It was amazing how they did the nightclub scene.
Yeah.
As an actual nightclub and then came back to it in the epilogue in the hospital. Was,
right.
Oh, like shot for shot. It was just
beautiful.
Like, tied up with a bow.
So really. Tight. The only thing that concerned me was when he said, what was the quote? When after his mom hit him and he was like, you can tell when someone hits you with love. I was like, no. Like hard no. And I was waiting for someone to be like, no, dude, you shouldn't be hit. Like anything. Like I was just like, no. Like, yeah.
I know. So I don't know if these are all just laying groundwork to be dismantled later. Is what it has. I hope. So. God, hope
right?
So. Because yeah, that was pretty major.
That's huge. Yeah, that's huge. Like, it's a hard no, people. In case you're wondering,
it's never
hard
okay.
no. That's never okay. Yeah. No one hits you with love.
Right. Mm-mm. And the way the episode ended this week with the book, I love it when we see her books.
Her books are gorgeous.
They're gorgeous.
Now, just from a production standpoint, who's producing these books and are they selling them? Because I will buy them. That's my question. I know. Gorgeous.
They're so dark and gothic and just something about the simplicity of children's books when they handle stuff like this. And they're just so... The images are just, I mean, it's a zombie kid, but it's just so compelling. It's like my favorite when they bring this up in the show.
I love it. I love it when they get more into her artwork and that whole fantasy realm for sure. Oh my God. I love her fairy tales. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, what else did we love this week?
What else did we love this week, Marisa? The top 3. Dun, dun, dun. Number 1.
Ooh, My Unfamiliar Family.
Yes.
The heads of this household, the parents, holy cow, to have 2 actors of this generation not be stuck like in the kitchen or, popping in for a coffee every now and then to tell the protagonist's daughter how great they are and their story about their childhood.
Their kids. Yeah, right?
Yeah, like real juicy storylines and real conflict between the 2 of them. Just
so amazing.
So good.
I mean, Won Mi-kyung, the mom, her final just breakdown in the kitchen when dad, played by the actor Jung Jin Young, she was so good. Like I was so into like this conversation, and we finally got. I love when shows can do this well, and they give you all that backstory in like 3 or 4 sentences, and you suddenly know the entire relationship and why she's just over it.
I know.
And it was so well done.
Heartbreaking. She's been holding it together for 30 years. Ooh. It's like, oh my God.
Those 2, they're just crushing it in this show. Like, I think everyone's an amazing actor in My Unfamiliar Family, but the 2, oh my God, the mom and dad in this show are they're a masterclass in acting. It's so freaking good. Number 2.
Holy cow. This was a surprise in a show that is filled with big emotions and big reactions. But the deer scene from It's Okay to Not Be Okay.
Right? I was like, who's making that noise? Is it her? Oh my God, it's the deer. And then she started making noises. Oh my God, it was hilarious.
So Yeji, oh my gosh. Because she's always so like this.
Right.
I get what I want. And then she's confronted with this deer on a lonely road in her luxury Volvo and just... screaming was
right. Oh my God, it was amazing. Yeah,
I'm still laughing about it.
An added one, just because we're talking about It's Okay to Not Be Okay, and we did mention it when we talked about the show. I was so creeped out when she was in the haunted house and her mom floated over her.
Oh yes,
I'm not sure it was a favorite moment, but it was terrifying.
It was a moment.
It was a moment. It was the most terrifying moment all week. For sure.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Korean filmmakers and dramas do scary so well.
Ooh. So well. Kind of a little add-on for a moment there.
Yes.
This is the same show. Anyway. And number 3.
Mystic Pop-Up Bar.
Oh yeah.
You made us so happy. When?
Oh my God. When our girl Yoram showed up as her Cinnabon, is it Cinnabon? Yeah.
Cinnabon, yeah.
Cinnabon, reincarnate in her dream world with the full hanbok and the gray hair all done up and just being sassy and having a girl moment with Wolju. Oh my God.
Exactly. When they're like,
so
you need
great.
girl time.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh,
and
crying her sorrows out.
Yeah. The 3 things of girl time. Norabong, sweets, and being there for each other.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh, and then on them all singing. Oh, it was just so, I loved it. Oh my God. I love that character so much. Like she was so sassy in her like hanbok and like just giving people shit and like boys suck because that boy was the suckiest of the suckiest. And now I'm just going to be, and it was just, I love that scene so much. That whole segment was just so amazing.
So we just want to give a shout out to the actors. So that was Jung Da-eun, who played our security guard. Yeah, yes. she's one to watch.
I was gonna say she's definitely now on my list of ones that I'm like, oh, good, yeah, I loved her.
Yeah,
she was great.
And then of course our Sam Shin, played by Oh Young Shil. So fun to see them bopping around like the singing, and the I guess the actual real life singer came in too, which was hilarious.
Yeah, that was so fantastic.
Yeah, and then of course Wang Jung-eum. I'm so sad to say goodbye to Wolju.
Wolju was a powerhouse, man. She was so fantastic. I loved her so much. Yeah. Oh, I gotta love that show so much. If you guys haven't, we highly recommend a binge on that one for sure.
Yeah.
What a good but brief week of K-dramas this week. So we are the KThree. I'm Jen.
I'm Marissa, and you. Thank you for joining us. Share your comments below. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know what to do.
If you want to check out what our top Netflix shows are to watch, part 1 is right here. And we'll have part 2 coming up probably in the next week. Until then, we'll see you later. Bye.